morning, everyone, and welcome to the PivotBoss pre-market video for Wednesday, September 24th, 2025. I am Frank Ochoa, aka PivotBoss. Happy hump day, everyone. Here's a look at the ES in the daily time frame. Bit of a pullback in the previous session here. Very narrow range early in the day, followed by midday and late day selling pressure here. Fed Chair Powell speaking here, really helping to pull the markets back a bit there. But really the strongest reaction occurred in the YM, which we'll get to here shortly. But this was a pretty decent pullback here early yesterday. Are we going to see an extension and a pullback down below? That kind of depends on how early morning strength is treated here. Any morning strength into the previous session's midpoint, into that 67.30 zone, that could be an opportunity for bears to defend for an inverted check mark down. A continuation downward for the day, maybe even into the FOMC key level below. Obviously, we've been in a very bullish trend here. So bulls will be looking to defend the previous session's low here. Any push into that low, can it get going back to the upside given the overall trend right now? So still up here hanging in this zone up here, new all-time highs. Seeing a little bit of weakness yesterday, but weakness has been fleeting. It's been short term. It's been 1-2 day moves, maybe a little bit more, and then right back up. This is going to need to be something that really takes out, say, the FOMC key level, takes out 6,600, and opens up quite a bit more downside in order for a mature pullback to occur. But shy of that scenario, any pullback could still be a buying opportunity until proven otherwise in the near term, despite being quite overvalued at these levels. All right, looking at the NQ, similar price action here. The previous session, a bit of a pullback, narrow range at the highs, selling pressure into the close for the most part, pulling back modestly here today. Same thing for the NQ here this morning. Any morning strength, bears are going to be looking to defend for an inverted check mark move down, perhaps into 700, maybe as deep as 600. Yesterday we mentioned that a pullback into 24,900 will be the early opportunity to watch to see how that area is defended. Bears will be looking to defend 900, and you may see as much as a 300-point move down in the best case scenario for bears. Now again, any bull will be looking to defend the previous session's low for a return right back up on a short-term basis. This market remains highly bullish. If we do start to see a rotation back down, how deep do we go? Is it 24,000? Even if it's a pullback that deep over the next couple of weeks, that could still be a buying opportunity until proven otherwise. So we'll see what kind of pullback we get, if any, as of right now, as this market continues to be quite bullish and remain near these highs. Looking at crude oil, this one's up 1.4% today, following the previous session's strength. This is a big-time move right now, and it looks very similar to the price action we saw just a week or so ago. This was a big time Friday key range, very similar to this. You had the nice push to the upside over a couple of days, but once we got a little too high, things stalled and we turned right back down. Now we are coming into a bearish seasonal window for crude oil. That seasonal window is about as good as it gets as well. It's basically around October 7th into about December 15th here. That is a bearish seasonal cycle. So any strength we see over the next 1 to 2 weeks here could be a selling opportunity over the next couple of months into the end of the year. So any strength we see here could be sold down the road. All right, let's look at gold futures here. Down about 0.4%, trading 3,800 right now. Basically holding near these highs. This has been a runaway train to the upside. Still working our way to 4,000. Any pullback is still an opportunity to buy until proven otherwise. This thing can even pull back as deep as 3,550, 3,500 and still be a longer term buying opportunity. That's how much strength this thing has seen. Not likely to see a pullback of that magnitude right now. Even something short term, 3,750 could still be a short term buying opportunity. So right now a bit of a holding pattern at these highs. We could see a little bit of a counter trend move, and then bulls will look to pick it back up as this thing approaches 4,000. Now the YM gave us the biggest rejection in the previous session. Calling it a day one rejection but not the strongest day one rejection. It's not screaming from the hilltops here that this thing is definitely going down, but that had the look and feel of a day one rejection. The way it reacted to 47K and that market structure level, the strong blow off top in the 60-minute time frame and the reversal back down. Would have loved to have seen it close below the previous session's midpoint here of 573s. That would have really given it a bit more juice to be bearish here, but that's an early indication of a topping pattern. Although in this market, those patterns have just it's paved the way for more strength. So again, while this is a day one reaction at a major market structure level at R3 on the PivotBoss pivots, 3 standard deviations over value, all of that would suggest some measure of pullback up ahead, but we got to continue to proceed with some caution here. Bears want to keep the 46.8 zone offered here in any test, but we're still in a very mature uptrend right now. So gave us the best reaction. Many stocks gave us wick reversal sell signals as well. It could be the early indication that things are starting to top out, although this may not be the top here. So again, day one reaction, day one rejection off this level. How does that respond here moving forward? Even a pullback of a normal magnitude here could pave the way for another round of strength. I would say a pullback as deep as 45K could be a great year-end opportunity to take this thing back to 47K and maybe into 49K down the road. So we'll see what kind of correction we may get. Looking at Bitcoin, this one's up 1.25% right now. A little bit of selling pressure away from recent highs at 118, and it's still kind of in the range. Again, as I've mentioned before, this thing is pretty stable up here. Hasn't really seen a whole lot of action either way. It stayed between 100K and 125K. That's your 25,000 point zone. The next level down takes you to 75. The next level up takes you to 150. So I've mentioned before, any pullback as deep as 95 to 100K could offer the next 50% return down the road. So got to let it bleed out into that zone. If it does get there, it could be a great opportunity down the road. But right now, very much coiled up in this range here, slight downward bias. ETH is up about 2/3% right now, but really hasn't shown a lot of juice off these lows. We've seen a pretty significant pullback here, flash crash move on Monday, and we really haven't gotten off the mat since then. So the thought is that this thing could trade around a little bit, and then we get another flash crash that takes us down to another leg, trade around a little bit, another one, and all of a sudden we're trading back in the low 3,000s. So again, is Monday's flash crash scenario here that played out an indication of more to come, or is this going to be just your standard buy the lows and bring it right back up? Still a very digestive style range. There could be a pullback to come, as I've mentioned before with this one. If we get a deeper pullback, say into 3,000 to 3,100, that could be a long-term double down the road. But we'll see how deep this thing may get, ultimately speaking, down the road. All right, that is it for now. We'll see how this plays out heading into the rest of the session. Good luck, trade well, and I'll see you in the trading room. Take care.